Hello, kia ora, I'm Sarah. Thank you for joining today's training on the Stage 3 Mentoring and Evaluation and Hope Bearers Livelihood Program's Financial Literacy Training. Stage 3 is delivered 2 to 4 weeks after Stage 2 is completed. You're going to need to follow along with me in your Stage 3 Trainer's Guide to fill in some blank spaces that are there. Stage 3 strengthens participants' use of the templates learned in Stages 1 and Stages 2 and gives them support for their real-life financial decision making. It also helps determine their readiness for the next steps in Hope Bearers Livelihood Program, such as business training or savings groups. Let's look on page 1 of your Stage 3 Training Guide to go over the key learning outcomes. So firstly, participants can confidently use all templates learned in Stage 1 and receive support to resolve any issues in Stage 3. Secondly, participants can identify the next steps needed to increase their resource inflow. And lastly, participants learn more about savings and small loans groups, as well as small business training within the Livelihood Program. Still on page 1, we'll now go over the key learning objectives of Stage 3. You're going to need to fill in the left column of the key learning objectives as we go through it. So the first is one-on-one mentoring. Don't forget to write that down. Mentoring participants by identifying areas where they need assistance with implementing their budget and troubleshooting any issues, as well as celebrating the changes that they've made and affirming their efforts. Secondly, evaluation. Assess their financial literacy progress and whether they are ready to join a savings and small loans group or receive business training. By this stage, participants will have tried their templates out at home. Your role is to help them connect the templates to real life, to reduce stress and build up confidence in their financial management. On page 2 is the approach to mentoring. Under the principles of mentoring, you're going to need to fill in the blank spaces. So the first is strengths-based mentoring, starting with what is working, building confidence and motivation. An example of this is you consistently tracked your inflow. That shows determination. The next is financial dignity and non-judgment. Money is deeply emotional and very personal. Use curiosity, not criticism. Instead of saying something like, "Why didn't you save?" you could say, "What made saving difficult this month?" The next one is micro progress mindset. Small steps equal big changes over time. Celebrate even the tiniest improvements. Next, we have agency over instruction. Mentors guide, not decide. Participants must choose their own next steps. An example is, what would help you feel more in control next month? Lastly, we have a trauma-aware approach. Financial conversations may trigger shame, fear, or past experiences. Avoid applying failure and normalize struggles they face. Now I invite you to pause the video for 5 minutes and discuss together or write down a reflection, if you're doing this training by yourself, on what principle do you think is most difficult to apply in real mentoring and why. Welcome back. I hope you had a good discussion or good reflection by yourself. We're now on page 4 and we'll look at building trust and rapport. So in building trust and rapport, greet warmly, use their names, make sure that they're comfortable and sit at an equal height. Use gentle eye contact and a relaxed posture. give them space if they need some silence to think. Trust must come first. When participants feel safe, they can be more honest about their money and how they're actually doing in the templates. It's great to use the templates to structure the conversation. Talk about resource inflow diary, their resource outflow diary, their smart saving goal, their debit diary, their budget, their skills, assets, and access maps. These templates will give an informal structure to your conversation and help participants talk specifically about their financial management. On page 4, there are more examples of strengths-based messaging. This expands on the principles of mentoring. You're going to need to fill out the left-hand column in the table. So the first is reflective listening, such as, I hear that school fees made saving very difficult this month. This demonstrates understanding and validation. If something is working, encourage it. Highlight positive behaviors even during challenging times. For example, even during a hard month, you still tracked your outflow. This shows diligence. As we've spoken about, normalize challenges, reminding participants that many people struggle with their financial management. It's very important for them to know they're not the only one. And remember, big changes come from small changes. Highlight any positive changes they have made, no matter how small, and help them see how these steps contribute to a larger progress. Next, use hope-oriented language. Point out examples of how they have been resourceful and support them to identify ways they can enhance that approach. Such as, you've already made such good progress. Let's build on that. This helps participants feel encouraged, capable, and well supported. And we cannot say this enough. Celebrate together. Acknowledge their achievements and emphasize the actions they took to reach them. People often overlook their own successes, which makes it harder for them to repeat them. Now pages 5 to 6 outline what you need to do to prepare for mentoring and evaluation. Soon I'm going to ask you to pause the video and read pages 5 to 6 out loud. Either by yourself, or if you're in a group, have somebody volunteer to read them and answer these questions together. The first, why is it important for participants to complete both a financial literacy, pre-assessment and post-assessment during the training process? How should a trainer assess a participant's progress during the mentoring session? Have fun discussing and reflecting. Now's a good time to pause your video. Welcome back. On page 7, you will see scripts for more complex topics that come up in mentoring, like debit and partner pressures. For the first 2 scripts, I'll tell you what the focus is, and then you'll write it in the blank space in your book, and then read the script as homework. As we've already covered these 2 topics in a variety of ways, this just expands on them further. For the last 3, I'll read out the script and you try guess what the focus is. And then when I reveal it, write it down in the blank space provided. So the first one is encouraging honesty. The second one is discussing difficult topics like debt, overspending, and having no savings. So now the third one, you're going to try guess what the focus is, and then I'll reveal it at the end. I can see you're trying, even if it feels difficult. You've already taken important steps that show real commitment. Let's focus on one strength you used this month, no matter how small. You're more capable than you think and will work through this together at your pace. What do you think the focus is of that? That's for a low confidence participant. The next, I'll read the script again and you try guess what it is. It can be tough when male relatives expect financial support, especially when you're trying to follow a budget. You're not alone in this. Let's look at what they've asked for and how it affected you. We can explore a small, respectful way of setting limits that still feels safe and manageable for you. Did you get it? It was navigating male partner or relatives' expectations for money. Now lastly, saying no can feel very hard, especially with people we care about. A helpful approach is to give a simple, truthful reason and keep it short. You could say something like, I'm working on my budget at the moment, so I can't help this time, but I can help next time. We can practice a few phrases together until you find one that feels comfortable and safe for you to use. I wonder if you guessed that one. It's helping participants say no. So don't forget to read the top 2 for your homework. And feel free to read the other scripts and practice saying them yourself so that they feel natural. Now on pages 8 to 11, there's an included section on strength-based prompts for each module. You don't need to fill out the table unless you would like to, and it's only for your internal use. This can just help the conversation flow and for you to keep the conversation specifically on their financial management and the templates that they're using. We would recommend starting by asking the participants which module or area they would like to focus on. Just use the module prompts as needed throughout the conversation. We encourage you to read this through and practice saying them out loud in your own words. Shortly, I'm going to invite you to pause your video and do an exercise to help you practice your mentoring skills. So if you're in a group, pair up and assign roles. One person will be the mentor and another person will be the participant. The mentor's role is to ask the participant which module they would like to discuss. Listen reflectively as they share, and at the end, ask 2 strength-based questions. Then switch roles. Choose a different module and repeat the activity with the different roles. So mentor reminders, avoid giving instructions, use a non-judgment tone, and name at least one strength that you can hear. If you're completing the training alone, choose a module and practice reflecting listening to yourself. Imagine you are talking to somebody about what you learnt from that module. Out loud, summarize the module and the template you used. Then practice responding with reflective listening statements to yourself. Ask 2 strength-based questions, still out loud, that highlight strengths you have used for that module. Then repeat and do this for a different module. So now I'd like you to pause your video for 10 minutes and to try this activity out. And notice what you find hard and what you find easy. And feel free, if you're in a group, to give each other constructive and strength-based feedback. Good to have you back. We're now going to look at delivering the post-assessment. So the purpose of it is to measure confidence growth from stage 1 to stage 3. Now this helps participants see their progress. This is data we are collecting in the wider livelihood program. How you will do it? You will read out loud the post-assessment and ask if the participants understands it or if they have any questions. They have already done this for the pre-assessment, but it's always good to recap. Then verbally ask the participant to choose a score from 1 to 5 for each statement on the post-assessment, based on how confident they feel. Remember, there's no right or wrong answer here. 1 is not confident at all. 2 is a little bit confident. 3 is somewhat confident. 4 is confident. And 5 is very, very confident. Guide them through each question and write down their response. Be prepared to stop and discuss how they feel about each one. Remind them that there's no right answers here. Then talk with them about their first score and their last score. If a score is increased, ask them what they think enabled this. If it has decreased, ask them why they think that this has happened, and be prepared to encourage them and motivate them, and again, use reflective listening and strength-based messaging. You will add the information to your country dashboard. In summary, mentoring is not about fixing somebody's situation. It's about recognizing their progress, reducing their financial stress, and guiding them towards confident decision making. Stage 3 is where participants truly begin to see changes that they've made. What is one principle from today you will intentionally practice in your next mentoring session? Thank you for joining me. God bless and goodbye.